Oh my gosh, did you all hear the news that we might even get an Infamous game? I loved Infamous since I was a teenager. That game meant a lot to me as a kid, especially with someone who had a lot of social issues and social interaction issues. That game was really cool to me, that we get to do our choices and really think about economically how this could affect people, helping a community or destroying a community. Because actually, you think about a lot of the creative tissues of these games, Infamous, were so impactful because they were about choices and you really felt the cause and effect of each choice you made. I love that about Infamous, and I'm hearing that we're not only going to get an Infamous game, but we also might get a new Infamous game. I honestly think this could actually be a good key point for Arrowheads to turn their heads and look at Infamous and go to Sucker Punch and go, hey, look, we're having issues with our game. Can you please help us create an interactive world? I believe if you ever look up the game Defiance, it was a sci-fi video game, but it was also a TV show. I like how Fallout was set on the western side and all the Fallout games were set in the east side or something in the west because, Las Vegas. Cool if we could have an social interactive with choices. I think Infamous could be a really good balance point for Helldivers. I do believe Helldivers could be a good coexisting story in the Infamous universe, or even have a Warbond and give us choices. Give us choices and political issues that matter, that will affect the storyline, kind of how Defiance had TV series, and the TV series affected the game you were playing in this multiplayer world. That's what I loved about Defiance. Look it up, it was a really cool series. But I do believe Infamous can be a really good stepping point for Sucker Punch to come in and be like, hey, Arrowheads, you're having issues with all these political topics that are great, but the video games you're giving are just not really good feedback. I think it would be really great for us to have an impactful world in Helldivers. Make choices that will cause and affect the world that we're living in. We're kind of having that same thing, but at the same point, I do think there should be more influence of that, influence of Infamous game storytelling, where the choices we make will cause and affect the world we're saving, or the cults and conservative government politicians that are abusive affecting their infrastructure and political gain or loss. Infamous was a really cool combatant video game where you got to make choices. You were first Cole McGrath, which was this delivery boy, and he just instantly delivered this package and it blew up. There was this material in Avengers that caused the effect of these Inhumans, and these Inhumans had affection, and kind of similar to mutants with the MRD. And you see, MRD, Mutant Response Division, was very similar to Infamous, so I think it would be really cool to actually have an X-Men Wolverine crossover with Infamous, because they do have that infrastructure of that MRD mutant registration, kind of like how DUP, Department of Unified Protection, is similar to ICE. I do believe that this could be a really coexisting world where we can have choices we make and the characters we build have the infrastructure of affection that we make in politics. I love how video games point at politics. That's why I continuously love Assassin's Creed. But I do believe Helldivers is losing its grip I think that they need to step back, reconstruct, make a third one, or make one that's based on Destiny. I think it'd be really cool if Helldivers had a coexisting world with Destiny and had a coexisting world with Star Fox, because the new Star Fox game looks so epic. I think it'd be really cool that if we got a Starlink, Star Fox, Helldivers coexisting crossover, we can have that infrastructure of cause and effect that infamous Second Son had, but have it much more open world, not much like that helicarrier themed shield department that we were hovering in. I love the free roam. I love how we could go wherever we want, but it's kind of like Avengers and it's kind of losing its grip. We need to have something that's more community gain, but also really dive deep into choices and impactful decisions that we make. Sometimes the infrastructure or the fighting that we cause will affect the story on later, or story impacting, which that's what Infamous was really good at. It really gave you choices. Helldivers needs to have choices we make will cause and affect the character and the story's world development building moving forward. Have choices like Fallout, where the things we do will matter in the long run, and the things we care about will impact the world that we're living in and the world we're building in. Similar to Outer Worlds. It'd be cool to have something like that impaction of Outer Worlds, infamous criticism, constructive choice building, storytelling in this universal world. Because actually, if you think about it, the DUP, Department Unified Protection, is similar to like Helldivers, or like maybe something similar to the Red Neo-Nazi. The automatons, similar to how they're kind of like that version of DUP. Really cool world building that really explores the community, not just going in there saving people, which I thought that I love that, but I think it'd be really cool if we had something like Defiance, where the choices we make, and similar to Infamous, the stories that we create will impact the world we're creating, because we are having those Helldivers choices. That would be really cool, the infrastructure. But I think it needs to be more delved into an open world Destiny game, maybe something like Destiny, where Helldivers 2 becomes Destiny crossover cohesive storytelling, and has that choices, world building we make can cause and affect what's going on in the infrastructure of our universe storytelling moving forward. I really think that's really what Destiny needs, and Infamous Second Son needs to be for Helldivers. And I think it'd be really cool if Helldivers moves forward. Defiance, the series, it's on Amazon, and it was a really cool game coexisting with the video game world that was impacted by the TV show that you see in the story developed. So I think it'd be really cool if we could have like a Helldivers coexisting world with Infamous Second Son choices world building, because we do have those choices that we make in the characters and battles that we fight, but make it more cohesive, coherent storytelling. If Helldivers looks at Star Fox, because Star Fox is a really, really popular video game. Really popular Nintendo game. I think sometimes it's gotten underrated due to breaks that it's gotten, during the MIs that it's gotten, missing in action storytelling. I think it'd be really cool if we have a cohesive storytelling with Star Fox and Helldivers, where we can go out and fight outside the world, and maybe something like Starlink, where we're meeting up with players, but have it like multiplayer, where players can come in our games and we could join forces and fight the evils in the storytelling that we're trying to build, and fight against the redneck, red scare coexisting automatons and the conservative Republicans that these stories tell. I think I think Helldivers really needs to reconstruct their gaming, and I think it'd be really cool if they turned their heads and looked and said, Sucker Punch, we need help. Can we have something where coexisting our world with choices that characters players get to make and impact the world that we are creating moving forward. And Marvel Rivals has this new coexisting video game that all the choices we make, all the fighting, like all the Avengers crossovers that they're doing right now with Avengers 1, and I think Avengers 2 is coming soon in the Marvel Rivals game. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please, Infamous and Sucker Punch, look at what I'm trying to tell you, and I think it'd be really cool if we had a cohesive story building where it was like we can like make choices and create worlds that we create. Thank you. This is Corey Daydream signing off.